When you are attacked, your instinct is to defend yourself. You want to explain, to justify, to prove your innocence. You think that words will protect your reputation. But in truth, every time you defend yourself, you hand your power away. You confess, without realizing it, that the other person's opinion matters more than your own. You place their judgment above your dignity. And that is the first step toward losing influence. Never defend yourself, ever. When someone throws accusations at you, let the silence do the speaking. When they question your motives, smile and remain calm. When they try to provoke you, show them that their words are beneath you, because the moment you defend, you descend. You step down from your throne to wrestle in the dirt. Powerful men and women know this. They understand that perception is built not by noise, but by composure. The one who stays unmoved when others attack appears unbreakable. The crowd may whisper, the critics may bark, but those who stand in silence are seen as lions surrounded by dogs. When you defend yourself, you make their attack legitimate. You make it seem as if their accusation has weight. But when you do not respond, you send a message far stronger. I do not explain myself to those beneath my understanding. And that single gesture flips the power instantly, because now they are left wondering. They crave a reaction. They want to see you panic. They want to see you justify. But instead, they face a wall of calm, and it terrifies them. Silence confuses your enemies. They expect resistance, not serenity. They prepare for a battle, not indifference. When you do not engage, their energy turns inward, and they begin to doubt their own strength. You make them question themselves, their argument, even their purpose. That is how you win, without ever lifting a finger. Think of this. When a king is insulted by a peasant, does he argue back? No, his silence is his crown. His restraint is his sword, because defending himself would mean lowering his rank, and power is never maintained by explaining. It is maintained by presence. The weak defend because they seek validation. The strong remain still because they are validation. The weak want to be understood. The strong understand that being misunderstood is the tax of greatness. You will be judged, criticized, slandered. Accept it as proof that you are above the average. For no one attacks what does not threaten them. So, when the world points fingers at you, remember this rule. The one who reacts first is already losing. The one who defends himself has already admitted weakness. But the one who stays silent, confident, unshaken, he becomes untouchable. Your silence is not submission, it is strategy. It is the weapon that drains your opponent's energy while you remain untouched. Let others drown in explanations. Let them waste their breath trying to be liked. You stand tall, speak only when necessary, and never defend yourself, because those who defend themselves become servants of perception. Those who refuse become masters of it, and when you master perception, you master power itself. Remember, the world does not follow the one who pleads. It follows the one who commands, and command is never found in defense. It is found in silence, confidence, and an unshakable sense of worth. So the next time you are challenged, accused, or misunderstood, smile. Say nothing. Let your actions prove what your words never could, because true power is never loud. True power needs no defense. And understand this: the urge to defend yourself is not strength. It is fear disguised as reason. It is the desperate desire to control the opinions of others. But power does not beg to be understood. Power allows misunderstanding to serve it. Every rumor, every whisper, every false claim, they all become tools when you stop reacting. Because attention is the currency of influence, and when you refuse to feed it, your enemies starve. The crowd loves a reaction. They live off drama. They want to see your cracks, your emotions, your struggle. But when you stand there, calm, almost amused, they start to admire you, even if they do not admit it. Because confidence that does not explain itself becomes magnetic. People are drawn to those who do not need approval. They begin to think, if he doesn't defend himself, perhaps he truly doesn't need to. That's how legends are built, through mystery, not argument. In every court, in every kingdom, in every boardroom, The one who remains silent under attack earns respect. Even your enemies begin to hesitate. They ask themselves, what does he know that we don't? Silence, my friend, plants doubt in their minds stronger than any defense ever could. It turns the accuser into the anxious, and the accused into the untouchable. When you do not defend, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is fear in disguise. It makes others tiptoe around you, cautious of how far they can go. Because they cannot read you. They cannot measure your reaction. You become a mirror that reflects their weakness instead of exposing your own. So the next time someone tries to corner you, do not explain. Look them in the eyes and smile, not the smile of arrogance, but of quiet superiority. Let them speak. Let them throw every word they can find. And when they finish, let silence hang heavy in the air. That silence will speak louder than any justification ever could. Do not fight to be right, rule through composure. Because the man who must prove his innocence is already treated as guilty. But the man who acts as though nothing can stain him, he forces others to believe it. This is not arrogance. This is control. It is the art of shaping perception without surrendering to it. Even when you know you are right, never rush to prove it. Truth does not need your defense. Time will do it for you. Every attempt to justify yourself only delays that moment of recognition. Let the truth ripen in silence. It will taste sweeter when the world discovers it on its own. Remember, power is not found in reaction, but in restraint. The more you defend, the smaller you look. The more you stay silent, the larger your shadow grows. People respect the one who cannot be shaken, who cannot be baited, who cannot be forced into explanations. That kind of power cannot be bought, faked, or taught. It is earned through discipline. So from this day forward, carry yourself with quiet confidence. Speak less, observe more. Let others chatter and burn their energy trying to understand you. You owe no explanation to anyone but yourself. Because when you stop defending, you stop chasing validation. And when you stop chasing validation, you finally become free. And in that freedom lies your authority, the kind that bends the world without raising your voice, the kind that makes others seek your approval, not the other way around. That is how you flip power instantly, not by defending your worth, but by standing so firm, so unbothered, that the world can only assume your worth is beyond question. And when you master this, you'll begin to notice how the world changes around you. People will start to treat you differently. The ones who once spoke over you will now measure their words. The ones who once tried to expose you will hesitate before your calm. They will feel it, the quiet strength that needs no defense. Because the energy you radiate when you stop explaining yourself is the purest signal of dominance. In every interaction, there is a hidden battle for psychological ground. Most people fight it with words, with arguments, with noise. But the wise understand that silence is not the absence of sound. It's the presence of control. When you stay calm while others shout, when you refuse to justify while others accuse, you show the world that your center cannot be moved. And that, right there, is the essence of command. You see, the art of power is not about being right. It's about being remembered. And the person who defends himself too much is forgotten because he looks desperate to prove a point. But the one who speaks less, who walks away, who lets time and results speak for him, that one becomes a myth. His name travels through whispers. People debate him, analyze him, even envy him, but they never forget him. Never forget this when someone accuses you. They want to control the narrative. They want to pull you into their frame, make you play their game. The moment you respond, you are inside their trap. You validate their world, their rules, their version of truth. But when you stay silent, they stand there holding their own weapon, confused about what to do with it. You turn their attack into emptiness. You make them fight shadows, and soon the crowd turns. They start to wonder, if he isn't defending himself, maybe he doesn't need to. Maybe he's above this. And just like that, the power shifts. Not because you shouted louder, not because you explained better, but because you refused to kneel before the court of opinion. You forced others to rise to your level or leave the field altogether. You must understand, power is perception, influence is theater. The moment you start explaining yourself, you tear the curtain down and reveal the backstage. Never do that. Let them see the performance, not the process. Let them imagine your reasons, your motives, your plans. Mystery is worth more than proof. The man who never defends himself becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability commands fear, respect, fascination, all the ingredients of authority. The world bows, not to those who cry to be understood, but to those who appear untouchable. So protect that aura. Guard it with silence. When people can no longer read you, they cannot control you. Even when you fail, don't defend it. Own it with calm. When they ask what happened, say, "I chose differently." That's it. No excuses, no stories, because explanations weaken what ownership strengthens. The one who accepts his outcome with grace gains more respect than the one who justifies it with 1,000 reasons. So, my friend, walk through this world like a storm that needs no warning. Let people talk. Let them guess. Let them misunderstand. You have nothing to lose by being silent, but everything to gain by not explaining yourself. Because the less you defend, the more others must define you, and they will, each in their own way. Some will fear you, some will admire you, some will try to imitate you, but none will ever forget you. That is the final form of power, not being understood, but being undeniable. When you reach that point, defense becomes unnecessary, because the world has already surrendered to your silence. And when that silence becomes your nature, when you no longer feel the urge to justify, something extraordinary happens inside you. You begin to taste a freedom most will never know. The chains of opinion fall away. The noise of judgment fades into insignificance. You stop living to correct others and start living to conquer yourself. That is the rarest power of all, the sovereignty of the self. Look around you. The world is filled with people begging to be understood. They shout, they argue, they defend every breath they take. And what happens? They tire themselves out. They drain their energy trying to win over those who were never meant to understand them, while the wise stay silent, building their empire quietly, brick by brick. The loud demand respect, the silent command it. You must learn to stand so firmly in your truth that you no longer need to announce it. When someone doubts you, let them. When they gossip, let them. When they twist your words, let them choke on their own misunderstanding, because their opinion cannot touch your reality unless you open the door for it. And every defense, every justification, every explanation that is the door, close it, lock it, burn the key. Do not think silence means weakness. It is the loudest signal of dominance. Only those with fragile egos rush to protect them. The strong don't explain because they know that truth is like the sun. You can hide it for a while, but it will burn through in the end. Your calm will prove you right far better than your words ever could. And yes, it will be hard. The human ego screams for validation. It wants to be liked, to be seen, to be understood. But that hunger is the leash that keeps most people small. Break it. Train yourself to be unmoved when others misunderstand you, because the moment you stop craving understanding, you become untouchable. Those who attack you will grow frustrated. They will throw words at you, hoping for a reaction, because reaction is power. When you do not react, you starve them. You make them feel powerless, irrelevant, invisible. And when they realize that nothing they say can disturb your peace, they retreat. They lose their voice, while yours becomes thunder without sound. Silence also gives you something else, time. Time to observe, to strategize, to act when it truly matters. Those who defend themselves act in haste. Those who stay silent act with precision. And precision, not speed, wins wars. Every battle lost by words can be won by patience. Do not waste your breath trying to correct the small minds of the world. Let your victories be your argument. Let your success be your speech. Because when results appear, words become irrelevant. Your silence becomes justified not by noise, but by triumph. The greatest form of communication is not explanation, it is demonstration. Speak less, show more. Defend less, achieve more. Let them misunderstand today so they can worship tomorrow. The world always mocks what it cannot comprehend, but once it sees the outcome, it bows. So the next time life tests you, when lies are spread, when fingers point, when your name is dragged through dirt, do not react. Stand tall. Let your silence echo. Because those who defend themselves fight for survival, but those who remain silent rule. And one day, when you look back, you will realize your power did not come from how loudly you spoke, but from how deeply you refused to explain. The world bends to those who need nothing from it. Not its approval, not its understanding, not its applause. Never defend yourself. Never explain. Just move in silence, build in silence, rise in silence. Because when you finally emerge, when your work speaks louder than your words ever could, the same voices that once doubted you will fall silent too. And that silence will belong to you. And when that silence becomes your armor, when your restraint becomes your reputation, people will start to sense something different about you. They won't be able to explain it, but they will feel it. That invisible weight of presence, that gravity that draws attention without effort. That is the mark of true influence. You'll notice it in their eyes. The hesitation before they speak, the careful choice of their words, the quiet respect that wasn't there before. Because people instinctively submit to what they cannot predict or provoke. Your calm will make them uncertain. Your silence will make them study you. And when they realize that nothing they say can touch you, they'll start to protect your image instead of attacking it. That is when you know the balance of power has shifted. Understand this: those who always defend themselves become easy to manipulate. They reveal their weaknesses in every explanation. They show what they care about, what they fear, what they're insecure about. Every defense is a confession. But those who remain composed, who offer no reaction, they reveal nothing. They become unreadable, untouchable, almost mythical. The world can attack what it understands, but it cannot destroy what it cannot define. That's why silence is not just a defense, it is camouflage. It hides your strategy while others expose theirs. It allows you to strike when they least expect, with precision and elegance. Every moment you hold your tongue, you sharpen your edge. Do not seek to win arguments, seek to win power. Arguments end with applause. Power endures in silence. The crowd forgets who shouted the loudest, but it never forgets who stood the tallest. The quiet one in the room. Calm, confident, unbothered. He is the one people follow, even when they don't understand why. And as you practice this, you will begin to master emotional control. Because to remain silent when provoked requires strength of mind. It means you have conquered yourself. And that is the highest victory a human can achieve. The man who cannot control his tongue cannot control his fate. But the man who can stand in chaos and speak nothing. He controls the room, the people, and the outcome. There will be times when the world tests you, when you are blamed for things you didn't do, when your loyalty is questioned, when your silence will be mistaken for guilt. But do not bend. Do not try to convince anyone. Those who truly know you need no explanation. Those who demand one will never believe it anyway. Let them drown in their assumptions while you rise above them. Eventually, truth reveals itself, not through words but through patterns, results, time. The same mouths that once accused you will one day praise you. But that transformation only happens for those who did not waste their dignity defending themselves in the mud. Remember, your composure is your crown. Protect it, guard it, because once you lose it, you lose command. People do not follow those who explain, they follow those who embody certainty. Every time you stay silent, you remind the world that you are not seeking approval, you are setting the standard. So, carry this rule like a secret blade: never defend yourself. Let the small minds debate. Let the insecure explain. Let the restless argue. You move in silence, act with precision, and let your results roar when the time is right. Because when the dust settles, It is not the loud who are remembered. It is the ones who stayed still while others lost their composure. The world bows to those who master restraint. The world obeys those who do not flinch. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this moment. Smile. Let them wonder. Let them burn in curiosity. Because your silence is not emptiness. It is power restrained. And power restrained is power perfected. And when you live long enough in this discipline, you begin to see how silence reshapes the battlefield itself. The world starts to play by your rhythm. Every conversation bends toward your tone. Every room you walk into grows quieter. Not because you demand it, but because your presence commands it. The absence of defense becomes a language of dominance, one that few understand but everyone feels. You see, defending yourself is a reaction, and reaction is the death of control. The moment you react, you've already surrendered the throne. The wise do not react, they respond with timing. And sometimes the most strategic response is none at all. When you say nothing, you create tension. That tension is power. It forces others to fill the silence, to reveal themselves, to show their intentions. You, meanwhile, learn everything while giving away nothing. When someone attacks you, they expect emotion. Anger, justification, panic, something they can use. When they receive stillness instead, it unsettles them. It's like striking a wall that does not move. They begin to doubt their strength, their argument, even their purpose. That's when you know you've won, not with words, but with composure. Make your calm terrifying. Let your restraint speak louder than any outburst could. In the world of power, people don't remember who shouted, they remember who stood unshaken. Every insult becomes dust before an immovable will, and soon, those who tried to provoke you will start to protect you. They'll align with your calm because it feels safer than their chaos. This is the secret art of reversal. You make the aggressor collapse under the weight of his own noise. You let him show his desperation, his need for attention, his emotional weakness. While you stand still, you expose him. And the audience sees it. They always see it. Because the one who loses control first loses the respect of all. You must learn to be comfortable being misunderstood. It's not a burden, it's a signal of elevation. The higher you rise, the fewer people will truly understand you. And that's fine. Do not dim your light to fit their shadows. Let them guess. Let them misjudge. Let them invent stories about you. Because every minute they spend analyzing you is a minute you gain in advantage. Their obsession feeds your legend. Power does not need to explain, it only needs to exist. The lion never defends itself against the opinions of sheep. The mountain does not answer the wind, it simply stands while storms exhaust themselves against it. Be like that mountain, unmoving, untouchable, unbothered, and understand. Silence is not passivity, it's precision. You are not doing nothing. You are choosing when to act. You are gathering information, letting emotions fade, letting enemies expose their hand. Because those who rush to defend reveal their cards, those who wait win. Let your words be like gold, rare, measured, and unforgettable. Speak only when your voice will shift the direction of the room. And when you speak, speak as one who does not need to prove, but to proclaim. That is how leaders speak. That is how empires are moved. By the calm authority of those who no longer justify their existence. And when you live by this law long enough, you'll find that your silence begins to echo louder than any speech could. People will repeat your words long after you've stopped speaking. They'll study your expressions, your pauses, your restraint. You will have turned control into an art and presence into power. So remember, defense is for those who fear being misunderstood. Silence is for those who understand themselves. When you no longer need to be understood, you become inevitable. And when you become inevitable, you no longer chase power. Power chases you. Stand firm, say less, feel no need to explain. Because the world bows not to those who speak the most, but to those who cannot be moved. And when you reach that level of stillness, when you no longer flinch under judgment, when your calm becomes unbreakable, You begin to walk with a different kind of weight. You no longer need to announce who you are. The room senses it before you speak. The eyes of others shift toward you, not because you demand attention, but because your silence commands it. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has mastered himself. You start to realize that words are cheap currency. Everyone spends them recklessly. But silence is gold. It's scarce, it's valuable. And when you use it with precision, the world pays attention. Because people always want what they cannot easily read. Mystery has gravity, and gravity is influence. Never forget power grows in the shadows, not in explanations. The more you reveal, the less they respect you. The more you justify, the smaller you become. So let your actions speak in whispers and your results roar in silence. The ones who matter will see. The ones who don't will vanish in their own noise. Every time you stay silent under attack, you train your spirit. You sharpen the blade of your discipline. You teach yourself that control is more valuable than validation, that peace is more powerful than pride, and that silence is not retreat. It's patience preparing its strike. The weak will think your silence means defeat. Let them. Because the longer you stay silent, the more they underestimate you. And when you finally act, it won't just surprise them, it will shatter them. Power is not about striking often, it's about striking once, with precision when it matters most. Learn to become a mirror to others. When they project anger, reflect calm. When they accuse, reflect indifference. When they seek reaction, reflect stillness. Because mirrors are untouchable, they absorb nothing. And that's how you remain untouchable too. Even in relationships, in business, in life, never rush to defend. Let others speak their assumptions, their accusations, their stories. Every time you refuse to explain, you test who truly stands beside you. Those who trust you will stay. Those who don't will expose themselves. Your silence filters your circle without a word spoken. And when you live like this, you stop chasing image and start embodying essence. You stop performing and start being. And that transformation, quiet, invisible, internal, will make you unstoppable. Because the man who does not explain is the man who has nothing to prove. Understand this: defense is born of insecurity. Stillness is born of certainty. When you reach the point where you no longer need to prove your worth, the world starts proving it for you. People defend you. They explain you. They justify you. Because the energy you once gave to explaining yourself now radiates as unshakable confidence. And here lies the ultimate paradox of power. The less you speak, the more they listen. The less you justify, the more they respect. The less you react, the more they fear disappointing you. You become a mystery wrapped in discipline, and mystery is the highest form of influence. So walk through the world like this: speak with purpose, act with intention, respond with silence. Let others shout, debate and defend. You stay calm, observe, calculate, and strike only when the outcome is certain. Because those who never defend themselves never lose their balance, and those who never lose their balance cannot be defeated. Let that be your rule: never defend, never explain. Move with quiet power. Let your composure terrify those who misunderstand you. And when history looks back, they won't remember what you said. They'll remember how nothing could shake you.